had one.
A cryptic phone call in 2010 unraveled a decade-long manhunt, leading U.S. Navy SEALs to the man who was never supposed to be found. Osama bin Laden in Abbottabad, Pakistan. The midnight moonless night was deliberately chosen. The darkness seems to swallow sound. In a quiet corner of Abbottabad, a city nestled in the green hills of Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, a walled compound. Its high concrete walls and barbed wire betray no hint of the secret within. To the world, it's just another residence in a city known for its military academy and pleasant mountain views. But tonight, stealth helicopters slice through the dark, carrying Navy SEALs on a mission that will change history. Inside those walls, the world's most wanted man, Osama bin Laden, lives in a self-imposed prison, unaware that the noose is tightening. This is the story of the manhunt that spanned a decade. A tale of relentless pursuit, dead ends, and a daring raid that brought justice to the architect of 9/11s. It's a story told not just through the lens of intelligence agencies and military might, but through the human cost, the moral complexities, and the quiet moments of a fugitive's life in hiding. Chapter 1: The Fugitive's Fortress, 2005 to 2011. Osama bin Laden's life in Abbottabad was a paradox. A man who once commanded a global terrorist network, now confined to a compound that was both sanctuary and cage. Built in 2005, the Abbottabad compound was a fortress of anonymity. Its 18-foot walls, topped with barbed wire, shielded its inhabitants from prying eyes. No phone lines or internet connections linked it to the outside world, a deliberate choice to evade surveillance. The compound, sprawling over an acre, was a self-contained ecosystem with vegetable gardens, cattle for milk, chickens for eggs, and even beehives for honey. For a man who had orchestrated the deadliest terrorist attack in history, this was lonely existence. Inside, bin Laden lived with 3 of his wives and a dozen children and grandchildren. His eldest wife, Qaraya, a 62-year-old Saudi Arabian with a PhD, had rejoined him in 2010. After a perilous 1,500-mile journey from Iran, where she had lived in exile. Her reunion with bin Laden, after 9 years apart, spoke to the loyalty and ideological commitment that bound his family. Another wife, Siham, also a Saudi with a PhD, shared the quarters. While his youngest wife, Amal, a 29-year-old Yemeni, brought a different dynamic. Married to bin Laden at 17 when he was 44, Amal was initially a source of tension among the wives. Her age and lack of education initially annoyed the 2 very well-educated wives, and at first, bin Laden lied to them, saying she was 30 and well-educated. After she joined the family, they realized she was the opposite, both in age and education. A massive contrast, but they quickly made their peace with it. All 3 women had chosen this life, united by their belief in bin Laden's jihadist cause and their acceptance of a polygamous marriage sanctioned by their faith. Bin Laden himself rarely left the 2nd and 3rd floors of the main house. His days were spent in a small study, its windows opening to a terrace shielded by 7-foot walls. Here, he penned lengthy memos, some as long as 46 pages, to his al-Qaeda lieutenants. He read English books like Michael Schuer's Imperial Hubris and watched Al Jazeera broadcasts of his own past appearances. His vanity persisted even in hiding. A bottle of Just for Men hair dye, the Pakistani version, sat in his bedroom, used to darken his graying beard for the rare videos he recorded. The compounds tiptoed around satellites and human intelligence, ensuring his presence remained a secret. Bin Laden's life was one of routine and isolation, a stark contrast to the global stage he once dominated. The compound's design was a masterclass in operational security. Its high walls and lack of external communications were deliberate countermeasures against modern surveillance techniques. This self-imposed isolation also limited bin Laden's ability to command al-Qaeda effectively, turning him into a figurehead whose influence waned as the organization fractured. Chapter 2. The Trail Goes Cold. 2001 to 2010. The hunt for Osama bin Laden began in the smoldering aftermath of September 11, 2001. The attacks on the World Trade Center and Pentagon, orchestrated by bin Laden's al-Qaeda, killed nearly 3,000 people and set the United States on a collision course with global terrorism. The U.S. invasion of Afghanistan in October 2001 aimed to dismantle al-Qaeda and capture its leader. But bin Laden slipped through the net during the Battle of Tora Bora in December 2001. Tora Bora, a rugged mountain complex near the Pakistan border, was a missed opportunity. CIA officers and Delta Force operatives intercepted radio transmissions confirming bin Laden's presence. But the U.S. relied heavily on Afghan warlords rather than deploying a larger force of American troops. General Tommy Franks, who oversaw the operation, later cited concerns about repeating Soviet mistakes in Afghanistan and a reluctance to risk American casualties. The Afghan warlords and their fighters, who America relied on to show the U.S. Delta forces around the Tora Bora Mountains, after receiving their million-dollar payments, deserted the U.S. operatives not once, but twice. The Afghans simply picked up and left. The decision not to send a battalion of 800 Rangers, as requested by CIA officers on the ground, allowed bin Laden to escape into Pakistan, likely through one of the many mountain passes. For years, the trail went cold. By 2003, CIA officials admitted they had hit a brick wall. Bin Laden's movements between 2002 and 2005 were later pieced together through interrogations and documents. He hid in Kunar, a remote, forested region of eastern Afghanistan, before moving to Pakistan, spending time in Peshawar, Haripur, and Swat before settling in Abbottabad. During this period, he fathered 4 children. Born in Pakistani hospitals, a bold move for a fugitive. He apparently had time to make babies. The CIA's frustration grew. In 2005, a female analyst penned a memo titled Pillars. There she outlined 4 potential leads: bin Laden's media communications, his courier network, his family, and 4th, his contacts with al-Qaeda leaders. Most leads fizzled. The chain of custody for bin Laden's audio and videotapes, often delivered to Al Jazeera's Islamabad bureau, couldn't be traced back to him. His family in Saudi Arabia had no contact. Intercepted communications with al-Qaeda leaders yielded nothing actionable. The 2010 WikiLeaks dump of Guantanamo Bay interrogation summaries provided critical insights into the hunt for bin Laden. While much of the raw intelligence was unverified, it offered a glimpse into the interrogations that shaped the CIA's strategy, including early mentions of a key figure in bin Laden's courier network. And this person was the key to finding Osama. Chapter 3. The Courier's Mistake. 2004 to 2010. The breakthrough came not from a single dramatic moment, but from years of painstaking intelligence work. The name Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti first surfaced in 2002. Mentioned by Mohammed al-Qatni, the 20th hijacker who was denied entry to the U.S. in 2001. Qatni, subjected to harsh interrogations at Guantanamo, described al-Kuwaiti as his operational security trainer. The interrogations, later deemed torture by a federal judge, raised ethical questions. But their role in identifying al-Kuwaiti remains debated. Senator Dianne Feinstein, after a 3-year Senate Intelligence Committee investigation, which is still largely classified, concluded that coercive methods did not directly lead to bin Laden. However, many CIA officials claim these methods yielded critical leads that could not have been gotten without enhanced interrogation. By 2004, another detainee, Hassan Gul, was arrested in Iraq with a letter from al-Qaeda's Iraq branch to bin Laden, confirmed al-Kuwaiti's role as a courier. 2 senior al-Qaeda figures, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and Abu Faraj al-Libi, in an attempt to throw the CIA off the right path, said al-Kuwaiti had resigned from al-Qaeda. They also downplayed al-Kuwaiti's importance, which only heightened the CIA's interest, as they never heard of someone resigning from terrorism. In 2007, the CIA learned al-Kuwaiti's real name: Ibrahim Saeed. He is a Pakistani who had grown up in Kuwait, fluent in Arabic and Pashto, making him an ideal courier for bin Laden. The turning point came in August 2010. Al-Kuwaiti made a phone call to a contact in the Gulf, confirming he was still with al-Qaeda. The NSA geolocated the call to Peshawar, Pakistan. Al-Kuwaiti's operational security was meticulous. He turned off his phone and removed the battery an hour from his destination, but the CIA tracked him to Abbottabad, a city of retired military officers and Pakistan's equivalent of West Point. Chapter 4: The Abbottabad Puzzle. August 2010 to April 2011. In August 2010, the then CIA Director Leon Panetta briefed President Obama, Vice President Biden, National Security Advisor Tom Donilon, and Chief of Staff Denis McDonough on a tantalizing lead. There is a suspicious but fortified compound in Abbottabad. The evidence was circumstantial. A mysterious figure, dubbed the Pacer, was observed taking brief walks under a tarp, matching bin Laden's known habits. The number of wives and children in the compound aligned with intelligence on bin Laden's family. Even the laundry male and female undergarments on the clothesline was scrutinized to estimate the compound's occupants. The CIA faced a dilemma. Aggressive surveillance risked alerting the compound's residents. Creative ideas were floated, from broadcasting a fake voice of Allah, commanding and demanding the occupants emerge to see God himself, to a fake vaccination program aimed at collecting DNA from bin Laden's children. The vaccination scheme, led by Dr. Shakil Afridi, failed to yield results. It also fueled Pakistani conspiracy theories about CIA plots, contributing later to attacks on innocent polio workers. At the end, bin Laden's children never came out to take the vaccination, no matter how hard the health practitioners tried. This scheme was a huge, wasted effort. By January 2011, the intelligence picture had not improved significantly. President Obama shifted focus to action. 5 options emerged. A B-2 bombing raid. This was dismissed due to civilian risks and lack of intelligence recovery. A joint operation with Pakistan. This was ruled out due to strained U.S.-Pakistan relations. A drone strike with an experimental munition. Also dismissed due to inability to confirm death. A Navy SEAL raid. Or, 5th option, wait for better intelligence. More officials were briefed. Many more non-meeting in the Situation Room with cameras off and no minutes taken were taking place, and the risk of a leak grew. Chapter 5: The Decision. On April 28, 2011, President Obama convened a final National Security Council meeting. The room was divided. Defense Secretary Robert Gates opposed a raid, scarred by the 1980 Operation Eagle Claw debacle that was aimed at rescuing Americans held hostage in Iran. Vice President Biden and Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, James Cartwright, also opposed the raid and favored a drone strike or waiting for more intelligence. CIA Director Panetta, Admiral Mike Mullen, and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton supported a SEAL raid. Clinton's decision was emotional. She had visited Ground Zero the day after 9/11s, representing New Yorkers who lost loved ones. A red team estimated a 40 to 60% chance bin Laden was in the compound. A stark contrast to the Iraq WMD intelligence failure. Obama, aware of the stakes, remarked that bin Laden was either there or not. Percentages didn't matter. He authorized the raid, insisting on robust backup plans, including additional helicopters to ensure the SEALs' safe extraction, implementing lessons learned from the 1980 failed hostage rescue in Iran, which was marked by poor coordination. The deadly helicopter crash in that operation shaped modern special operations. It led to the creation of Joint Special Operations Command, JSOC, which, under leaders like Stanley McCriefin, became a precision instrument capable of executing complex raids like the one in Abbottabad. Chapter 6. The Raid. May 2, 2011. On a moonless night, 2 stealth Black Hawk helicopters carrying 23 Navy SEALs took off from Jalalabad, Afghanistan. 2 Chinook helicopters waited in reserve, one inside Pakistan, another on the Afghan border. The SEALs had rehearsed on a mock-up compound in Nevada, but a critical missed detail: concrete walls, instead of chain-link fencing, created unexpected turbulence. One helicopter crashed upon landing, but the skilled pilot ensured no injuries. Inside the compound, the SEALs moved swiftly in pitch darkness, aided by night vision goggles. The electricity was off, adding to the chaos. Al-Qaeda opened fire and was deleted. Bin Laden, on the 3rd floor, had 15 minutes to surrender, but did not. He neither resisted nor reached for the AK-47 and Makarov's pistol in his room. A SEAL shot him dead. His body, along with computers, documents, and other intelligence, was airlifted out. A Chinook retrieved the team, leaving the crashed helicopter behind, destroyed to protect its stealth technology. Back in Washington, the Situation Room was tense. The helicopter crash raised fears of another debacle, but Admiral McCraven calmly adjusted the plan. President Obama, watching via a stealth drone feed, announced the success at 11:35 p.m. Pakistani put pressure on the U.S. to clarify the operation. The Black Hawks used in the raid were modified for stealth, a technology never before used in combat. Their heavier design and the compound's concrete walls contributed to the crash, highlighting the risks of cutting-edge military technology in high-stakes operations. Chapter 7. The Aftermath. The raid yielded a treasure trove of intelligence hard drives, thumb drives, and documents that revealed al-Qaeda's struggles. Bin Laden's own writings showed an organization in decline, advising affiliates like al-Shabaab to avoid the al-Qaeda brand due to its toxic reputation. He considered relocating to Kunar to evade drones, and even suggested his son Hamza move to Qatar for safety. Al-Qaeda's influence had waned. Affiliates in Yemen, Iraq, and Somalia lost ground, and their strategy of targeting Muslim civilians and imposing Taliban-style rule alienated potential supporters. The 9/11 attacks, while catastrophic, were al-Qaeda's Pearl Harbor, provoking a U.S. response that dismantled their Afghan base and left them fractured. For the U.S., the raid restored national honor and delivered justice for 9/11's victims. It showcased JSOC's evolution into a formidable force, capable of executing complex missions. But questions lingers. Could bin Laden have been captured? Contingency plans existed, but the operation's urgency left no time for alternatives. Chapter 8. America, Pakistan. The decision to exclude Pakistan from the raid planning reflected deep mistrust, compounded by fears that a failed operation could disrupt U.S. supply lines to Afghanistan. Also, the Raymond Davis incident in 2011, where a CIA contractor killed 2 Pakistanis, at the peak of CIA drone strikes in 2010, strained ties with Pakistan. Pakistani reaction. Pakistan's government denied knowledge of bin Laden's presence, a claim supported by the lack of evidence in recovered documents. The raids strained U.S.-Pakistan relations, and Pakistan's limited night flying capability and the operation covert nature ensured the SEALs escaped undetected. This sparked widespread humiliation, anger, and skepticism amongst the military and civilians. The Pakistani military was deeply embarrassed by its failure to detect both bin Laden's presence near the Cockle military academy and the U.S. operation. New York Times reported some U.S. officials suspected ISI involvement in shielding Osama. Though no definitive evidence has ever emerged, amongst Pakistani civilians, anti-American sentiment increased, and they were most angered by the breach of sovereignty, and less about the fact that the terrorist leader was in their country. Pakistan demolished Osama bin Laden's compound in February 2012. Bin Laden's death marked a turning point, but not an end of Islamic extremism. Al-Qaeda's ideology persists, though its relevance has faded. Jihadist violence, a fixture since the dawn of Islam, will not vanish, but Al-Qaeda's failures, like killing Muslim civilians, ruling oppressively, and offering no practical solutions, have relegated it to the margins. Thanks so much for watching all the way through. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think or what topics you'd like to see next. Also remember, sip and subscribe. The button is down there, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on new content. Stay awesome, stay hydrated, and I'll catch you in the next one.